Okay, thank you so much for tuning in today to talk demand planning for the agriculture industry. Today's models and dashboard is centered around a marijuana farm and cultivating marijuana products, but this demonstration and these models and analytics can be completely configured and customized to make sure that it fits the needs of your specific agriculture organization. So let's go ahead and jump on over to our agriculture perspective, where in this first tab, we see that we are gauging historical data. At the core of any rock solid demand plan, we need to have very solid historical information that we can then leverage in many ways to create future forecasts. We see here that we're able to see our prior year's actual units information, as well as the revenue associated to the historical units, broken down by product family. So we have our flower, pre-roll, vape, and edible, different product families, and then broken down even more by our specific products inside of each product family. The reason that we have all of these different views is to showcase that if you have any type of dimension or detail centered around units or revenue data or expenses data, any data living inside of your adaptive planning instance, we're able to then build reports and great KPIs, charts, and analytics off of them. Down below, we have our various different types of SKUs inside of the product families broken out for last year of historical information, also broken down by different locations. So we have our different farms across the United States of West, Central, and East. Maybe if we want to just look at our East data, we can select East, or maybe we just want to look at Central. We have the ability to do that as well. I also really enjoy calling out right off the top is that everywhere inside of this active dashboard, inside of Workday Adaptive Planning, is completely clickable and drillable. So our units data here, we're able to click on that 643,000 units for 2021 and get additional granularity. Maybe we want to get the product breakdown this way. Now we see our pre-rolls did the best for us for FY 2021. And maybe we want to get additional information into that as well and see, okay, pre-roll 1003. Now let's get that farm by farm breakdown. So this historical data tab is great to be able to look back at how we did previously to help leverage and generate how we're going to do in the future. In our next tab here, we have our production forecast. Here, we're also able to break this down unit by unit with product family, and you'll see that we're leveraging our product forecast adjustment sheet here. You may see forecasting method here, and we're selected the NBEATS way of forecasting our data. We see a lot of other various methodologies around trending growth or different types of average calculations to produce a forecast, but we have selected NBEATS here. The reason for that is we have utilized the super innovative machine learning forecasting technology inside of our demand planning SKU for Workday Adaptive Planning. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my tab here to showcase the ML forecast. All we had to do was select our budget version, what time period we wanted to forecast out our units data for our various farms, leveraging our historical actuals. Having a wealth of knowledge and a lot of historical actuals at our disposal makes our machine learning forecast be more and more accurate for the future. We've utilized the NBEATS algorithm as the NBEATS machine learning algorithm takes a look back at historical information and leverages that historical units data to go ahead and generate our baseline forecast individually SKU by SKU to then roll up and take a look at our 2022, our forecast year of units data by product family. We see here that we're able to look at last year's actuals. What was the forecast off of that machine learning forecast that we ran in this tab here? And then now we're able to see, did we have year over year growth or did it decline on a SKU by SKU basis? Now, we all know the machine learning algorithm is great, but sometimes different types of budget managers still want to be able to go ahead and do a manual override on their end if they want. Well, maybe for our flower 1001 SKU of our marijuana farm, we want to go ahead and actually have a 5% override to our forecast data. So we see our 14,582 units for flower 1001 is what was generated by that forecast. But we actually know that we need to have 5% higher override. Well, we can check the override box, 5%, save that change, and then our adjusted forecast will automatically update to go ahead and give us a higher adjusted forecast amount. This then generates and updates with our KPIs, charts, and analytics down below. Now, like I said, we can go ahead and generate an override on a percentage by percentage basis, but we also have the ability to go ahead and do it manually with a unit amount. For demonstration purposes, we can then go ahead and go into, maybe we think that our vape 1001 is going to have a huge week 1 to 2022. I'll go ahead and add in a 5,000 unit increase just to showcase the immediate impact to our active dashboard. Now we see I saved my 5,000 unit increase for week 1, and we see our week 1 adjusted forecast rocket up. We know that was for our product vape 1001, but maybe we just want to drill in straight from our line chart here. Well, we can click on our week, select our product, and now we see that our vape 1001 is by far the largest product in our adjusted week by week forecast due to that 5,000 unit adjustment entry we made on our product forecast adjustment. Utilizing historical actuals and our forecast that's generated with the help of the machine learning algorithm, we're then able to calculate our historical units with our moving average and our year-over-year trend growth associated with it. This is something that many different farms would absolutely love to be able to have the insight into, to be able to tell which products they maybe need to keep pushing that are doing well, and maybe which products they might need to reassess growing or cultivating for their specific organization or farm location. Our next tab here is centered around capacity for our various locations. We see our facility specifications model up in the top right here, where we're able to break down, is this facility located in our west, east, or central farm? Is it an indoor or an outdoor growing facility? And then we have a lot of other metrics that help calculate total capacity for our plants. How long is it going to take our plants to grow? We're able to calculate or bring that in from our growing assumption down in the bottom left here to then generate a month by month total capacity yield, as well as, okay, maybe we have 2.7 million capacity for overall grams for this facility. But what do we think we're actually going to grow and achieve? So maybe our overall capacity, 2.7 million, and we think we can hit 87% of that for facility 1 to then give us an achieved capacity of 2.3 million. We're able to see that as well with our yield versus achieved capacity analytics down below, utilizing our month-by-month projections here and then annualizing them to go ahead and see, okay, we achieved 30.6 million grams with our overall 35 million gram capacity as well. We're able to quickly pivot and adjust our achievement percentages to see the impacts on our KPIs, charts, and analytics down below. We see here facility 4 has a 70% achievement, so we have the largest gap with our overall total capacity versus achieved capacity here. Well, then we can enter in a quick adjustment. Maybe we're going to achieve 90% versus 70%, and then let's see the impact on that. We can save our change and then see that our achieved capacity is much closer to our overall total yield. So these active dashboards are a great place to be able to make your updates to your budget and your plan and see the impact right away to our various charts, KPIs, analytics down below. Go ahead and key this back to 70%, save my change, and then you will see the yield versus achieved capacity go right back to what it was at. We can go in and any column that is not grayed out, make our updates to maybe add in additional square feet or plants per square feet. What does our overall grams per plant look like? All of these inputs will affect our overall total capacity yield, and then the percentage to get that achieved capacity. Lastly, we have our product mix here. So maybe we know that for our future year, certain products, maybe our edibles, do better than our flower or our vape, and this product mix helps overall generate what do we need maybe to procure from an outside source, or what do we have extra on hand. These two KPIs play into our inventory management tab that we're going to go ahead and take a look at now. Now, based off of leveraging our historical information and running a machine learning forecast, as well as updating our adjustments manually with an override percentage or an override amount, as well as updating our production capacity, this helps us achieve that final demand by week by product. All of that then plays in to take a look at our overall inventory management cube sheet down below. We're able to look at our sales, our inventory metrics. What do we have coming in that we're growing? What are we actually selling? What is outgoing? We're able to look at this by farm, so west, central, and east. And then we're also able to leverage the context filters up above if maybe we want to look at this for a specific dimension value for a specific SKU. I can go ahead and select 1003 pre-roll here, and then I'm able to go ahead and see the unit sales, the incoming and outgoing amounts for a specific SKU. All I have to do then is scroll back up and put this product overall to top level, and we see all of our charts update again. We're able to see for the entire year, what do we have extra on hand week by week through the micro chart, as well as what do we need to go ahead and outside source to make sure we can fulfill our demand. Next, we have our build and pricing strategy tab. When it comes to inventory and demand planning, bill of materials is something that we very commonly work with a lot of our customers. We have the need to be able to plan for SKU by SKU, and what are all the materials that are going to be associated for that specific SKU. Well, we see here that for flower 1001 SKU, we have our various cultivation materials and manufacturing materials, as well as packaging materials associated with them. If I want to go ahead and select a granular piece of my organization, I'm able to go ahead and do so, and then make my quantity inputs for our various materials. We also can go ahead and do this for our cost. Going ahead and inputting our quantity and our cost is how we're then able to go ahead and generate our overall profitability. So let me go ahead and put this back to total company to view all of our farms at a consolidated level. And now we're able to see period over period for the entire upcoming forecasted year, which materials we need to plan for to be able to have to generate our specific SKUs. We then are able to see period over period how much quantity we need for our various materials. So this is our different cultivation materials, manufacturing materials, packaging materials, to then go ahead and make sure we're able to hit our overall profitability. We can see what are we charging per unit, what's it cost us per unit, and what's our overall gross margin. Maybe we want to go ahead and expand this here, and we're able to now take a closer look. Well, our edibles are not having near the gross margin that our flowers and our vape products are having. So maybe we need to look at the costs that are associated to our edible SKUs while we ensure that we are pushing our flower and our vape products that we are cultivating in-house. Then we go ahead and leverage inputting our price assumptions here for our various products associated with costs to ultimately go ahead and calculate our profitability. This is a very key metric. Maybe we want to see product by product, how are we doing? like we saw a little bit earlier, our edibles are lacking as opposed to our flowers, our vapes, and our pre-rolls and profitability. So maybe that's something that our supply chain team needs to assess internally. Lastly, we have our direct labor tab here, where we're able to then go ahead and get a really high-level overview of all of the people that are attached to creating our marijuana products, pricing our marijuana products, and ultimately facilitating the entire supply chain of which products need to be shipped out versus what's being grown in-house. We're able to then go ahead and see month by month what do our headcount needs need to look like. Throughout the middle of the year, our demand shot up, so we see that we need to have much more headcount available for our organization. We're able to look at our labor cube down below and see, okay, for facility one, for our direct labor needs, we have 4 plants per hour that need to be created. That leaves us with 640 plants per month that will be generated. And then we're able to see how many people are needed versus how many employees do we have at that current facility for our West Farm, and then generate the overall cost associated with them. So if we have a $25 an hour rate, what's that do to our hourly wages expected? Since we have a surplus deficit, some of our people are going to need to work some overtime to make sure that we can account for all of the demand coming in. All of this then helps generate an overall surplus or deficit. So we see that for facility 1, 2, and 4, or actually for all of our facilities, we might need to make some hiring adjustments to ensure that we are efficiently working. We can then see our cost per plant per facility, and then maybe if we need to bring on some additional heads to try and lower that cost. Okay, this was one example of how Workday Adaptive Planning can help you and your agricultural organization plan for demand. Thank you so much for your time, and please reach out to us at sales@activecyber.com if you believe that we could help you create a great demand plan for you and your organization. Thank you.